Before we head to the elections themselves, Francis, let's cut to the chase. What's going to happen next Tuesday with Donald Trump announcing that something will be said from Mar-a-Lago? Is he going to run for president again, do you think?
I rather hope not, and I'd be frankly surprised if he did. I think at this point he's very much a negative. He lost in 2020, and if he ran again in 2024, he'd be a two-time loser. So I think the Republican Party is healthy, and while there is support for Trump, a lot of it here in America is just a matter of flipping the bird at Democrats and for the crazy politics of the last 2 years. I mean, we have an election today, as you say, and you know, I'm Republican, so I'm going to be sitting back with a bag of popcorn and enjoying myself tonight. I think it'll be a great night. I think the Republicans will take both houses, and that will represent a severe rebuke, not just to Biden, who's so over the hill, but also to the mindset of a progressive administration that has expressed its contempt for America, and
right.
You know, we've had enough of that.
So are they voting, do you think, on the economy stupid, as we remember for those Clinton years, or are they voting on Biden and I think his ratings down to 42, thinking that he is out of time and out of touch?
Well, it's both, right? You know, he's so out of touch that they didn't pay any attention to inflation, which is very much a real issue here. And most people recognize that it's been fueled by excessive spending by the Democrats. And it's time for payback, right? We know the problem and we know what caused the problem, and we're going to try to begin to cure it today.
How about the issue of democracy, which Biden has raised at these various rallies, given all the problems that the Trump supporters have raised about the last election, how it was stolen and so on and so forth? I mean, is that really going to be divisive in these midterms?
It's not an issue at all, right? I mean, when polled, Americans don't think it's anything as important as the state of the economy, for example, or more importantly, crime in the streets, perhaps. So that's not much of an issue. And frankly, when you get down to it, if you ask yourself which party has been defending democracy, well, it's not, I think, the party that has been rubbishing our Constitution for the last couple of years, declaring it to be racist, created by a bunch of slaveholders, and they want to move on for it, and they say they're in favor of democracy. Well, they're not in favor, it seems, of constitutional government, and we've noted that as well.
Yeah, but I'm just interested in the dynamic that if the Republicans, as expected, do pretty well, does Trump see that as his green light to come back? And therefore, what happens to other candidates such as Ron DeSantis, for instance?
Well, frankly, we don't know. Look, I'm very much hoping that he's going to decide that the vote today will be a vindication of the things he's been saying, and that, therefore, it is not necessary for him to do anything. But then you never know.
And what about then governing America for the next 2 years if the Republicans gain in the House and the Senate, as we've been discussing, the Democratic power game is over. It's a lame duck presidency.
It's lame duck, but the point about American politics and of the American Constitution is this is a country of strong presidentialism, and there is just a lot, way too much, the president can do, paying no attention whatsoever to Congress. And so what we're going to see are a lot of investigations of what has happened in the last couple of years. But we can't enact legislation, and it's hard to block the president. He'll do things, and it's going to be very hard to make him stop, unless possibly they get to him and say, look, Joe, this hasn't worked. Find a new set of friends. Remember how Clinton triangulated in 1994. You should be talking to us.
Yeah, because, of course, Obama and Clinton did actually very badly in their midterms. Very
much so.
So what does that tell us about the way forward? I mean, both Trump and Biden are pretty elderly. I mean, is there any evidence of a generational change in U.S. politics?
Well, there is a generational change, but the funny thing is, it's happening all the time. In other words, yes, when people talk about generations, they'll talk about Generation Z or Z,
Yeah.
right? But then, over time, Generation Z gets a bit older, and hopefully gets married and has kids, and so they become part of the change just by getting older,
And become Republican as well, perhaps.
Yes, right.
Okay. Well, look, we'll let you enjoy your popcorn as it happens. Of course, I think voting underway, indications record early voting already. So we'll see what happens and emerges overnight.